All right, quick bite of burrito, and then we'll start the show.
Cool, I'll take a sip of water.
Welcome back to another episode of the Retro Craptacular podcast, where each month we continue our search for the best bad movies on the planet Earth. I am your host, Aaron, and I am joined from across the world
Whoa!
by Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hey, dude.
How
How's
is
it going?
this?
Oh,
Dude,
what?
we're podcasting transatlantic.
Is
Not
that...
really.
No,
No,
that's
But-
not quite what that means.
might as well be. The middle of this country doesn't matter at all. So,
We're spanning 3 time zones.
yeah, man. That's I'm glad. Personally, I'm glad that this is working out.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you were glad I was 3 time zones away, and I was about to be, pretty miffed. I'm pretty miffed about that one.
You used to be directly above me, and now you're the opposite side of the country. And that's how I like it.
Wow.
That's good. How is
Cold-blooded.
how is life in our nation's capital?
Well, I'm not in Ottawa specifically.
Good. It's a whole.
But yes, this side of the country, very different. Ontario is not British Columbia. I am not in a rainforest climate anymore.
Nope.
It snowed very heavily weeks ago. And it has not gone away.
No. And it won't for several months.
That's what I've been told, yeah. So far, not too bad. I like the snow a lot. I'm assuming I'll get very sick of it, but I like it right now.
Yeah, I'm giving you till, I'm going to say by Christmas, you're going to be done with snow.
By Christmas. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. That's fair.
But, you know, that's just me I'm basing that off how I would react to being around that much snow all the time. Personally, I like my temperate climate, and I don't plan to leave it.
You know who does love this cold climate is
it your dog?
Zelda. Yeah.
It's your dog, yeah.
At last, having a huge, furry, long, black coat all the time makes sense.
Yeah.
She's in her element.
Well, that's good.
Until the summer, and then she will hate her life desperately.
All right, enough of this crap about your dog. We got to talk about The Mandalorian.
Yes.
You watch it?
I did watch it, and I have one important question to ask you that I think you'll know the answer to.
Hit me.
Has there ever...
Hold on. Is this a spoiler?
I mean, only very lightly, I think.
Okay, well, let's just put a blanket warning out there. Spoilers for The Mandalorian. Jump to the time code in the description to skip past it, unless I forgot to put it in there, in which case, just kind of fast forward a bit.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you're really going to do the work for that, or?
I have done it before. I made sure I put the Avengers Endgame, spoiler time codes in there, so I'll try and make sure I keep track of it. All right, hit me. What's your question?
Yeah, so, has there ever, in the history of Star Wars shows and movies outside of the holiday special, been a mention of Life Day? Because I cracked up so hard when that was brought up.
That's where you were going. No. Yeah. No, there has not. That is
think so.
Life Day is canon now.
Yep.
Thanks to that blue dude at the beginning.
I laughed so hard. Oh my gosh.
I know for a fact Jon Favreau is a fan of the holiday special.
Oh no.
In particular the Boba Fett cartoon.
Oh gosh.
Because that inspired the look of the Mandalorian character.
Wow, okay.
With the silver helmet and kind of the color scheme of his armor. And the rifle that he has in this show with the tuning fork at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's the same weapon that Boba Fett has in the holiday special cartoon.
I had
Which,
wondered
like,
where I'd seen that before.
the cartoon is the only redeemable part of the holiday special.
And even then, it's like it's pretty terrible.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's if someone like was like put a gun to my head and be like, you have to watch 5 minutes of the holiday special right now, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm watching the cartoon.
Yep,
So
that's the only answer.
yeah, yeah, it's not the whipster bit, that's for
Oh
sure.
no, no,
Um,
no.
so no, there has not been a mention of Life Day in canon until now, which is great. And also, there was a recent interview where Jon Favreau said, "Yeah, I would love to make another holiday special. I just got to figure out how we'd make that work."
Oh my gosh.
So, there
Oh
might
my
be something.
gosh.
Um, yeah. But okay, so let's talk about the rest of the show. It's pretty great, right?
It was. I was trying to keep my expectations minimal because I didn't want to like overhype myself or anything, just in case it wasn't that great and I'd be disappointed. So I was just kind of like,
Sure,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna watch this. I'm just gonna see what it's like. And it was about 5 minutes. It took, well, maybe even a bit less. That I was like, oh no, I love this. I
Yeah.
am so on board. It looks
100%.
beautiful. There are practical special effects that just work so well.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and
apparently a lot of the backgrounds in the show are just like giant uh LCD screens
oh, really?
that like will react to how the camera moves. I don't understand it fully, but basically it's kind of the same. It's taking the technology that they used on the Jungle Book and the Lion King and and adapting it for like a full live action shoot where basically like the environment is rendered live kind of like a video game in like a video game engine, um
Oh,
but it's then uh yeah projected onto these LCD screens, and the camera however they move the camera, it will react to that.
that's so interesting.
So like focal length, that kind of stuff will change depending on how they move the camera. That's the way I understood it. Anyways, it was a very very technical um, description given in the interview that I saw with Jon Favreau and Bob Iger on Vanity Fair. I think if anyone cares to like go look for that, it's on Vanity Fair. You can go
Cool.
check it out there. But yeah, I love that it looks expensive and
Yeah.
yet at the same time kind of cheap. like like there's elements of it that like okay, clearly they spent a lot of money on this because it looks great, but then it's like, but also it's a TV show and you can tell because like this bar set is pretty small and the practical aliens don't look that good, and but they don't look bad, but they don't look probably as good as they would if they were making a movie
Yeah, I see what you mean.
on it.
It doesn't seem like super high budget,
Yeah,
but it's not that it's bad. It's just it has a lot of character to it.
for sure. Yeah, and I kind of like that. Like I kind of wish that we had gotten maybe like a Star Wars TV show in like the late '80s or early '90s for like 1 or 2 seasons that was kind of just not the greatest quality because that there's something charming about that. Like, did you ever see the Planet of the Apes show from the '70s?
I don't think so. No.
Like, I don't know, bump the
Oh,
mic.
pardon
It
you.
it's not like obviously it's not super high quality. Like they spent money on the ape masks for like the two main ape characters, but not really the other ones. Like they kind of their mouths barely move, and the sets are kind of they probably reused the same set kind of over and over again, and they're clearly just like shooting on some ranch in California. You know, because it's a lot of just them running through some hills and the same kind of forests and over again. But like at the same time, I kind of love that because it you can tell they were trying to make it better than what it was, and that's kind of admirable in a way, you know.
Yeah, I get that.
And so I
Like,
kind of wish we had gotten like a Star Wars show that was like of the same budget of say like Star Trek: The Next Generation,
hmm,
or maybe like a little bit higher budget because George Lucas probably would have just paid for it himself. But
probably.
something like of that level for just like one season. I just need like 20 episodes or less of that in the 90s. That would have been so sweet.
Would have been fun, yeah.
But you know, I am stoked that this is the intro into Star Wars TV.
Yeah, I feel like bar set pretty high. Um, and I mean, one thing just that I'd love to shout out, I think the music is super
Yes,
interesting. It
yes, I
really
was gonna
really
say that.
grabbed me. And so I
It's
had to look up the composer.
it's the guy
Um,
that did Black Panther, right?
it's the guy that did Black Panther, which he won an Oscar for, I
He was
think.
definitely nominated for. It's also the guy that like does all of
Let me look
Childish
it up.
Gambino's
Yeah, that's
like
right. They
arranging and
I'm pretty sure they
producing.
met doing Community. Like I think he did some stuff for Community.
Oh, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Yep, Oscar winning composer. I'm pretty sure it was for Black Panther.
Black Panther, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's he's great. Like the main Mandalorian theme is pretty good. I can't remember it off the top of my head because every time I try to remember it, I just think of the theme from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom because it's kind of similar.
There's
It's
some
like
similarities too.
you remember that one?
Yes, yes, I do.
It's
That's
kind of
good.
it's kind of similar to that, which is good because then it kind of feels like John Williams still. So
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like the melody, like the motifs and stuff are like super simple, but they're just really, really like sonic. Like they're just really
yeah,
well designed, and there's like really interesting instruments. I really love it. Oh, I love it so much. I love hearing really like earthy woodwinds
yeah, for
blended with
sure.
like harsh synthesizers at the same time. That's my jam. I love
Yeah.
that.
Well, you as the composer, between the two of us, I'm sure you dug more deeply into it than I did. But I was just like, this is a good jam.
Yeah, which I mean
I
that's what
would,
you
I
need.
would,
Yeah.
I would work out to this.
You'd work out. Get spoiled at the
if
Mandalorian.
if I was gonna work out, I would work out to this. Just to clarify. Um, but yeah, all right. So super major spoilers, I guess. What's up with the Yoda baby?
Oh man. No idea.
You
No
think
idea at all.
Yoda and Yaddle had a love child, and
Yes.
that's the baby? Because the timelines could work out, man.
Yep, that's exactly what I think.
Yoda and Yaddle could have gotten their fuck on like before the Phantom Menace. Yeah, no, I've heard rumors that like maybe it's a clone of Yoda.
A clone.
Yeah, because apparently, and I haven't gone back to confirm this, but the doctor that comes in when the Mandalorian's talking to Werner Herzog there in the first episode. Which, by the way, how fucking dope is it that Werner Herzog is in the Star Wars show?
Yeah, freaking awesome. I'm on board.
I want that voice all the time. Like if that could be like the voice of Siri on my phone, I would totally have Werner Herzog be the voice of my phone. That would be
It would take longer to do anything,
totally.
but it would be so worth it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. But yeah, and the doctor in that scene, the guy that comes busting in and he's like, "Oh shit, sorry."
Hmm.
Apparently, the patch on his shoulder has the same insignia as the Caminoans. Camine. Kaminoans.
Oh,
Yeah, and so it's either a clone of Yoda that they made that they want back, or they want to clone this baby.
that's interesting.
I'm super duper like I was not expecting that. Like as soon as I saw the ears in the first episode, I was like, "Fucking come on, man, seriously!" And then,
It was confusing for sure.
but like I'm in.
Yeah, me too. I mean, first of all, it's fucking adorable.
Yeah,
Love it. And then it does add this layer of mystery that I was not expecting from this show that
no,
really really drew me in.
I was expecting it to be a very like grounded, simple kind of no. Like I was not expecting there to be any Force users in this.
Yeah, same. That took me by surprise.
And one day we will get a show or a movie or something. Lucasfilm will have the guts to deliver us a piece of Star Wars media in which the Force is not present.
Yeah.
But it is not this day.
No. I mean, it would be so easy to do. Like, there's so much interesting stuff in the anyway.
Yeah.
Eventually,
I think so too. But yeah, who knows? I'm so happy with this though. Like, I kind of hate that it's every Friday that I have to wait. Like, I would binge watch the crap out of this.
oh yeah, so used to Netflix just dropping
I would
like
binge watch
a
this
whole
every
shows.
Friday,
Yeah, for real, right?
the whole thing. Um, I mean, last week I bought Jedi Fallen Order on Friday, and so while it was installing, I made myself a bunch of tacos, and I sat there and I rewatched the first episode
Of course.
before I went and watched the new episode because that's how
Natch.
fucking long it takes to install 50 gigabyte game,
Yeah.
which is pretty fun by the way.
Yeah, good. I mean, I've heard decent things. Like, there's always a handful of people that hate everything, but
Yeah, yeah.
it looks really fun. I would love to try
Oh,
it.
speaking of hating everything, did you see the did you see the thing that Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy released today, or maybe it
No.
was yesterday? I can't remember. Basically, where she was like, "Yeah, Ryan Johnson made a great movie, and I love The Last Jedi, and we intentionally set out to like challenge our fans, and we wanted to move the property forward instead of just making the same movie over and over again." So yeah, if you're basically just saying if you're mad about The Last Jedi, grow up and suck it.
Love it. Oh, that makes me so happy to hear.
She did it in like the most politically safe way she could, where she's like, well, it was good to know that the fans out there care so much about this property, and we try our best to make sure that we are taking good care of the brand and the story. Is we have been handed the keys to this story and we're the keepers of it, and we want to move it forward in the best way possible, but at the same time we want it to evolve and we want to create new ideas and we want to challenge the audience and we don't want to just make the same thing over and over again. It's like, so it's basically
Yes.
a way of saying like, all right, we hear you, but
Shut up
shut
about
up.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Stop being so butthurt about a movie.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So that's great.
Love it.
Anyways, let's talk about another beloved science fiction franchise. Well, first of all, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No,
I still
let's
haven't.
jump into it.
Cool, man. I still haven't finished Dark Crystal, so when I get around to that, we'll.
Oh, yes, I would love to talk about Dark Crystal. Yes, next month. How about?
That's one that I would have taken week to week.
It's yeah, it's so rare to find a show that isn't bingeable. It's so
Although I
hard to
felt,
get through multiples of that show because it's so heavy and intense.
yeah. I mean, I felt the same way about most of the Marvel Netflix shows too, though. Like the first 1.5 seasons of Daredevil, very watchable.
Mm.
Did not make it into the third. Um, Made it about halfway through Jessica Jones. Made about 3 episodes into Luke Cage. Never started Iron Fist. Never started The Defenders. I think that's all of them. Oh, I never finished. I watched the first season of The Punisher, but not the second.
I liked The Punisher, I think, the most.
Yeah. Punisher was good. I just couldn't get into them. It was just like they were too long. They either needed to be half the length, like the episodes either needed to be half the length they were, or they needed to cut the episode order in half. Like 13 episodes just seemed to drag on for so long, and I was like, just give me 8 episodes of amazing content instead of 13 episodes of like okay content, you know?
Yeah.
And like Daredevil season 1, I thought was 13 episodes of really, really good content.
Yes.
And the first half of season 2 was really, really good. And then when they got rid of the Punisher and moved into the Elektra storyline, I was like, whatever.
Yeah, not as good.
But yeah, so let's move into what we watched this month, which was
Indeed.
a user request, whose name I should have looked up before we started this.
Well, we can just make one up if you want.
I'll give him a shout out at the end. How about that? I'm pretty sure his name's Thomas. But if it wasn't Thomas, I'll give you a proper shout out at the end, and maybe I'll cut this part out where I got your name wrong.
Or we can just call him Thomas for the rest of the episode, and then it'll be really funny at the end when you're wrong.
We could also do that, yeah. All right, let's get stuck in. We did what did we do? Doctor Who the movie.
Timing malfunction. The master. He's out there.
You have 2 hearts. Who are you?
I am the Doctor.
He's taken most of my regenerations.
By midnight tonight, this planet will be pulled inside out. There will be nothing left.
No way. This way.
This is his last chance to stay alive, and you know it.
What do you know of last chances?
More than you.
Let's talk about Doctor Who the movie. I did confirm it, by the way. It is Thomas. He also sent us a bunch of. He was the one that sent us a bunch of Doctor Who episodes.
Oh, episodes, yeah.
To watch, because he was like, "Would you like to, try and get into Doctor Who?" Because we had talked about doing like, you give me your best episodes of Doctor Who, and I try to watch them. Full disclosure, I'm not a Doctor Who fan. Just for the people out there, I've tried to get into the show a couple of times. And before you at me, yes, I've seen Blink. I've seen that one.
I love that episode. I do.
Of all the Doctor Who I've seen, that one is probably the best. But let's get stuck right into the movie. How as a Doctor Who fan, what did you think about it? Because that's what I want to know.
Yeah, well, I mean,
because obviously I have opinions, but I feel like maybe I need to defer to you on this one a little bit.
Well, no, it's going to be really interesting having the two perspectives. You aren't very much into Doctor Who, but you know more about movies. You'll have a lot to say. I really enjoy Doctor Who. I don't know. I don't know if I can call myself a fan exactly, because I haven't
You're not
watched
a
in a
Whovian?
really long time. I am not. Because wait, isn't that from Dr. Seuss?
No.
The Whovians?
Well, Who's live in Whoville?
Oh, sorry. Dr. Whovian, I think, is a character. Ian Horton Hears a Who.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure Doctor Who fans call themselves Whovians. Maybe I'm wrong.
See, I don't even know, so I can't say that I am one. But I do love the Doctor Who that I have seen.
All right, fair enough.
And so for me, it was like I haven't seen Doctor Who in a very long time at this point. Well, I say very long time. It's probably been a year. But it was partially really fun to kind of go back into that universe where I have so many memories. I have so many emotions tied to it where I'm like, oh, yeah, TARDIS and Time Lords and stuff. Like, oh, I haven't seen this in a long time. It's great. But, the other part of me doesn't like watching really bad movies. So
Okay, so you'd say it's not great.
yeah, I'm comfortable coming right out of the gate and saying that this is not a very good movie.
Okay, cool. Because I also kind of felt that way, but I was like, yeah, maybe just because I'm not a big Who fan. So
Nope, that's not the reason.
okay, but also this seemed to remove like a lot of elements of Doctor Who. Like he doesn't have his sonic screwdriver. The TARDIS is barely in it. There's no Daleks. Is the Master a thing, or was that a new character for this? Or
No, the Master is the arch nemesis of the Doctor.
always?
Yeah, I think throughout the entire series that's been the case.
Oh, okay. Because I was just assumed it was the Daleks, but
They're like the arch enemy of the Time Lords, kind of.
okay,
Like
right.
as species, but the Master is kind of the Moriarty of the series.
Okay, all right. That now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Now I understand. Now you made
Yeah.
it's the Master is the Lord Zed of of the Doctor Who. I got you. I'm with you. I just said Doctor
Yes.
Whoville.
Dr.
Anyways.
Whoville. Yes, the Lord Zed. That is the perfect comparison. There it is.
Cool. Yeah, so I I did laugh a lot during this.
Oh?
My favorite part was when Doctor Who lands the TARDIS in San Francisco and is immediately machine gunned to death by a gang of
Yeah.
by like a Chinese street gang.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I mean, like I
God.
first saw the Doctor and I recognized this Doctor as being from
Yeah.
a previous. And I was like, oh, okay, so the Doctor of this movie has to come in, so this guy has to die because I knew about the whole regeneration thing.
Sure, yeah, I'm
But
familiar. I was familiar with that bit too.
It was a surprise that he just steps out of the TARDIS, completely unaware of his surroundings, gets shot immediately.
Just like, oh yeah, so I just step out of my police box and I'm incredibly British and what? Just immediately machine. I laughed so hard. I rewound it like 5 times and just watched him get
that's
shot
cool.
over and over again.
It
Was
special.
so funny. And then I made my girlfriend watch it when the next time she was over. I was like, you have to watch this. She's like, I don't know anything about Doctor Who. I'm like, doesn't matter. Just watch this part. And she thought it was ridiculous. But yeah,
Love it.
that was a great way to start the movie. So off the bat, I'm in. I just want to say, like, right off the bat, I was like, okay, we're in San Francisco, even though it's really Vancouver. And fun fact, this is the only Doctor Who thing that was shot outside of the UK or outside of Europe. I can't remember which one exactly, but
Probably Europe, but I mean, yeah.
probably Europe. But yeah,
Makes sense.
it was shot in Vancouver. So that's cool, I guess.
It would
and
be cooler if the movie didn't suck so much.
Yeah. But the guy that plays Doctor Who is also the guy who plays Gallic, the crazy prisoner in Alien 3.
Yep, I recognized his face after a little while, and I had to look it up for myself, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Gallic? What
Yeah.
the frick?
For those unfamiliar with the character names in Alien 3, which is understandable,
Very.
Gallic is the one that's like, it was a dragon!
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a super crazy one. It just makes everything worse.
Yeah, he like slits the guy's throat and he's immediately like, sorry. Which is not a nice gesture, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's mixed.
Having just murdered someone.
And hey, yeah, the guy who played the Master was also super familiar to me, and I looked him up. Did you recognize that guy?
No. I
It
don't
also took
think
me a
so.
little while, but eventually I was like, I know I've seen that face. And I have on a not Alien 3, but Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The guy who plays the Master in this movie also plays Jimmy the Butcher Figgis.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right?
Totally.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. No, I totally see it. That's great.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I hear him talking on his ear. Hello, Peralta, and I'm like, wait, whoa. I can't get it out of my head now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
No, I totally missed that. But yeah, now that you pointed out that that's where he's
That's
from.
the butcher.
I said totally a lot just
Like,
there.
yeah, totally, man.
Totally. So what I'm interested to hear from you is because obviously there's things that make this movie bad and that just generally it's not very good.
Yup.
But what stops it from being, because something can be, whoa, geez, sorry,
Settle down.
because something can be not a good movie but still be a good Doctor Who movie or something, you know what I mean? Like what's a good example of something like,
I don't know. Use
well,
Power Rangers again.
okay, so Power Rangers, the 2017 reboot. No, that's just good.
It's just amazing. Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Don't even
I
touch
think
it.
that does work as you could show that to someone who's not a Power Rangers fan and they would get it. Okay, Power Rangers the movie.
Yeah, like episode 1 of this show.
Yeah, exactly. Don't go back and listen to that. Like, work backwards through the catalog, I say.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Or the Jason X episode is great, but
Oh, yes.
Power Rangers the movie, it kind of no. This is a bad analogy. Like, you know how there's something where you could like make an argument, like, okay, maybe Solo isn't a good movie, but it's a good Star Wars movie. You know, I don't know if Solo's the right example for that, but like people will say that, right? Where they'll be like, oh, there's probably a James Bond example, like, I don't know. Tomorrow Never Dies. It's a good James Bond movie, but it's not a good movie. You know, that kind of thing.
That one I get. That's
'Kay.
the one. Let's stick with that one.
Okay.
I'm on board.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah.
It's the one where the guy is killing people so that he can write newspaper headlines about it and start like a multimedia conglomerate company. He's like creating the
James
news
Bond movie.
so that he can have the exclusives. Like it's a weird, it's real dumb. But it works as a James Bond movie. So that's our example. So does this, to bring it back to Doctor Who, this is a bad TV movie. But what makes it a bad Doctor Who movie?
Oh, so glad you asked, Aaron. Well, I mean, like, I'm not gonna pretend that I know everything that makes Doctor Who great.
Sure.
But I mean, there's been a lot of people who play the Doctor. Some people, you know, they have different takes on it. But there's always, like, every single time I've seen the Doctor and really enjoyed it, there's always this otherworldly quality to the acting of the Doctor, where they're this weird mix of like highly intelligent and kind of insane. There's they're like really whimsical and incredibly dark at the same time. Like,
okay.
Like, there's a lot of weight of the world stuff on the Doctor's shoulder. But then, you know, he's also highly excitable, you know?
Right.
And so and again, different Doctors do it differently, but that kind of quality that it really makes the Doctor's character, is something that I've come to appreciate, because it's not easy, and seeing people do it well makes me happy because I enjoy acting.
Right.
And I'm sorry to Paul McGann, but wow, it was a real fucking terrible performance as the Doctor.
Really? Okay, because I was gonna say, like, one of the things I liked about this movie was that I liked Paul McGann.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he just, like, I just felt like he came across as way too just like insane and like scared and bewildered a lot of the time, that I
Yeah.
was like, this isn't the Doctor, really. I don't
Okay. See.
think.
Yeah. So I don't really know the Doctor as a character. So is it normal for him to not remember who he is when he wakes up from like regenerating?
From what I remember, that's not entirely normal. Like the Doctor has to rediscover who he is as a new person. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember there being like a profound amount of amnesia involved in that, where he's running around, or like stumbling around naked because he was in a morgue,
Yeah.
and he's just like, oh, like can't even talk. It seems like that all seemed strange. I don't know what that was
Yeah,
about.
I think there was some line in there where he was like, "Oh, I was gone too long this time," or something like that.
Maybe I missed it.
Saying like he was, I don't know, like maybe he was dead for too long, and I don't know. The scene where he wakes up and the guy at the morgue is watching Frankenstein, and like those scenes are intercutting. That's when I was like, well, that's a bit on the nose, don't you think?
A little bit, yeah. But
I was just
also,
like, oh,
I I forgot to look it up, but that dude at the morgue who's like this kind of goofy, cheery, jolly dude, and I
yeah,
honestly think was my favorite actor of the whole movie.
okay.
I think that might have been the crazy bartender from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, like the one that owns, or the one that's always at the bar that they drink at?
Yeah, and he's like, "You looking at my toupee?" You know,
Oh,
like,
that guy. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
just like super. He's like super insane.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that might have been him. And honestly, yeah, I really liked his performance in this movie. I don't know why, but
I want to look it up
it
now.
was just so funny to me.
Um, yeah, there was a couple bits that I thought were kind of on the nose. Another one is that at the very beginning, when he's in the TARDIS, like traveling to bring the Master's essence to wherever or whatever, he's just sitting in an armchair reading The Time Machine.
Yeah, like that
To
was
where,
that
I was,
wasn't clever.
oh, it's just like, ugh, seriously? Ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Yeah. Well, and
no, sir,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. So there was that that I wasn't like super happy with, and another thing that made it not great to watch was just that the graphics were like disgusting.
Well, yeah, and I kind of expected that
But it
to
like
be
I
the
don't know.
case.
It felt it was like you were talking about before, where you wish that there was a Star Wars movie where like they didn't necessarily have the huge budget, but then weren't held back by that and still tried really hard. This felt like
Hmm.
they neither had the budget nor tried hard,
Gotcha.
which
Gotcha.
was just kind of gross. And then there was just a lot of, I mean, like Doctor Who
Hold
has a lot of
on.
weirdness and a lot of mystery. I mean, that's in a lot of Doctor Who stuff, but it's usually either in that kind of realm of like soft magic systems where there isn't a reasonable way to explain it, but it is acceptable, and then a handful of things that's like, oh, these weave together this way, and that's why this is how it is. Like part of the mystery is explained for you, but there was just a lot going on in this movie that I felt like, as the viewer, just was not made clear at all. That made me not care as much about the movie. Like the whole, like Time Lords regenerate, and then but the Masters used up all of his lives, and the Daleks incinerate him because he was on trial. All of that I understand and I'm on board with. But in the beginning preamble, as we're being told this, we also are told that the Master has a last request, and that the
Yeah.
Daleks grant that request. That doesn't make sense at all. And the fact that that request is for his remains to be taken back, sure, that's fine. But then why are his remains still alive and they just break out of the
Yeah,
little case? And
into
why
a ghost cobra.
Yeah, and why are his remains sputum? I figured he would be ashes because I thought he was incinerated or disintegrated or whatever, but no, the sputum comes out and turns into a ghost snake.
First of all, is sputum a real word?
I think so, but you're making me doubt myself. However, I am at a computer, and I will look up the word sputum.
Cool.
A sputum is a pole weapon that was used in Europe during the 13th century.
Awesome. Were you trying to make like a jism analogy?
Not specifically. I wasn't.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, I might as well have. Let's be real.
We know where my mind is. It kind of follows, I guess, the similar sort of idea of what I assume Doctor Who is, which is the Doctor teams up with a woman.
A human, but it's often a female companion.
Often a female? Okay, I thought it was always a female, but I guess maybe Jodie Whittaker would have a dude. Does she have a dude companion?
I actually don't know. I've never seen any of her stuff.
Oh, okay. That's the stuff that I'm most curious about.
Fair.
Probably just because it's the newest. And also, I really like Jodie Whittaker from Attack the Block.
Oh, that's where I know her.
Yeah. She was the one that Finn mugs at the beginning.
It was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie. I really like it. It's
Yeah.
good. So mostly it's the Doctor going on an adventure with a companion. But it kind of removes a lot of the classic Doctor Who elements, which we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, which is like he doesn't have his sonic screwdriver.
Yeah.
He doesn't have, or the TARDIS is in it, but like barely in it. I don't really know what the deal with the eye is. I did like the part actually where he opened the door to the TARDIS and the guy on the motorcycle like drove in and like crashed into something and then like turned around and drove out. That was really good.
That was weird.
Yeah. There was a lot of weird stuff in this.
Yeah.
It was interesting for me as a non-Who fan to kind of watch it and try and figure out A, what was going on, and B, whether this was good on like just a straight movie level, which off the bat I was like, not really. And then the part B of that, or 2, depending on which scale I've been using, was me trying to figure out like, oh, is this a good movie if you're a Doctor Who fan?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing by your reaction that it's not.
It does not seem to be the case. Again, there were like elements of like, oh man, I haven't like been in this universe for a while. So I was like, there was a little part of me that was excited at some things, but then again, like there was not enough elements of what I love about Doctor Who to make me like the movie, really.
Gotcha.
My voice got kind of weird there.
Didn't like it that much. That's all right. We get goblin-y sometimes when we're tired. It's understandable. So what? The basic plot of the movie, I guess, is like Doctor Who shows up on Earth after the Master's essence causes a time malfunction.
Yeah, the snake sputum, which I'm just gonna stick with, goes inside the TARDIS somehow.
Yeah.
And makes it crash.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Doctor's response is to immediately leave the TARDIS.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And get shot.
Yeah.
And then
which again, best part of the movie.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, happened way too early. It was all downhill from there. And then the sputum just kind of goes out the keyhole of the TARDIS and follows them. The kid who finds him, I think his character's name is Lee. I don't remember exactly. Follows them in an ambulance. Oh yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah, pretty racist.
Yeah, it was, well, yep.
I don't know. It was the 90s. It was Matt. It was a different time. Okay.
Don't pull that. So then the sputum snake
Oh
just
my
kind of
gosh.
follows them for like a long time, and the doctor's taken to the hospital, which like to me immediately I'm like, oh, that's a red flag because the doctor can't go to the hospital. He's a freaking alien.
Yeah, he has two hearts.
And then like right away, the person who takes the X-ray is like, this guy has two hearts, and just like to drive, like for me the reason, the scene was so frustrating for so many reasons, but one of them was that it was a female nurse who did the work, took the photo, and relayed the information. This man has two hearts. Then the male doctor said, that's impossible. It's a double exposure.
Okay, sure, but I mean,
didn't even entertain the possibility that it wasn't a double exposure. Just immediately like, no, that's not possible. Now let's put him in surgery.
yeah, okay, I can see how that.
But then
Could
also
be frustrating, but also I feel like most doctors, and not just male doctors, I'm sure most doctors would be like, if one of their nurses, male or female nurses, came out to them and was like, "Hey, this guy's got two hearts," they'd be like, "What? No, come on, it's got to be a double exposure."
but like no follow-up, no asking why would you say that? Like, I don't know. I also
didn't he look at the X-ray?
He might have briefly glanced at it, but it wasn't an inspection as far as I remember.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if you can go full Me Too on this one.
Well, it was also frustrating just because, like, it's in my head. I was like, oh, it's a big deal if the doctor ends up in the hospital because he's a freaking alien, and like,
yes,
people will be called.
He does have two hearts.
He does, and
they tell you that so many times.
That's a big thing. Time Lords have two hearts. But then yeah, to just be like, oh, it wasn't actually, like, it didn't really matter. No one guessed that he was an alien.
Yeah.
And so
I think he even says, like, on the operating table, I have two hearts. I'm not says, like, I'm human. I have two hearts. And they're like, oh, okay, buddy, here's the gas. Just suck that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then the female lead, I can't remember the actress's name right now, but she is
I don't even remember the character's name.
Grace.
Oh, yeah, it might be Grace. That sounds right.
Yeah, cool. Good for me. I mean, maybe it's wrong, but we'll stick with it. Yeah, she goes into surgery, but he's not human, and so she accidentally kills him.
It is Grace. Dr. Grace.
Perfect. But yeah, like, it would have been way cooler if he just died from the gunshot right off the bat, but instead he dies in surgery.
Oh, dude. The guy who plays the master is also the one of the mobsters in The Dark Knight.
Oh?
He's the one who's on trial at the beginning when his buddy tries to execute or tries to shoot Aaron Eckhart when he's like cross-examining him, and then his gun jams, and so Aaron Eckhart like punches him out, and then he's like, "Ooh, carbon fiber made in China. If you want to kill a public servant, I suggest you buy American." And then the judge is like, "Court is adjourned," and they like arrest the guy, and he's like, "Well, Your Honor, I'm not done." Anyways, that's the guy
that's Eric Roberts.
That's Eric Roberts, yeah.
Huh.
Fun. So, anyways, yeah, she kills him, and then he comes back as Paul McGann.
Yeah, but one thing that doesn't make sense to me. This is another thing that I thought was like, is this normal? I don't know why I'm holding up 3 fingers right now, but anyway, maybe it's the third thing, and I just don't remember. So he flatlines because she like has a camera in him and gets lost and doesn't know where she is, and then it gets stuck and he starts dying because of that. And they get the defibrillators, and, clear, and they pump him a good number of times. And then eventually they hit him and he lunges up out of his off the table and screams.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
After which immediately they do it again. And then he dies.
Well, yeah, of course he dies, because as we know from the movie Flatliners, the paddles don't actually restart your heart. They actually stop it.
Yeah.
But what I guess how CPR works is you get a minor heart rhythm going, and then the paddles are enough of a shock to the system that actually stops that like irregular heart rhythm that you get from CPR, and then starts it going properly. Don't quote me on this. Not a medical professional. We'll ask our friend the doctor later.
Yes, we will do that.
Yeah.
But it
Doctor
seems
D.
big old Dr. D. Wait,
Yeah.
who? What?
We have two friends that are doctors. Well, one's almost a doctor, but
Oh, Dr. Double D.
Dr. Double D.
Yeah, that's a man. Just in case anyone thinks we're
Yeah.
being really gross.
Just in case anyone thinks we're being gross, definitely a dude with a gigantic head,
Love you, Double D.
full of brains for doing medicine. Anyways,
Hefty.
yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, I've never been in the situation where I was defibrillating someone.
No.
But I
No,
assume
me
that
neither.
if I do it and they wake up and they scream, that I would stop.
Yeah. Yeah, I should probably do that.
Right? Like, that seems
what
like
I,
the
what
thing
I
to
don't
do.
remember specifically, does he wake up, scream, and then fall back onto the table? Or does he wake up and scream, and then like while he's like sitting up and screaming, they're like, ah, and like zap him again?
He does fall back
Because
down onto the table.
that would have been amazing.
It would have been
They,
incredible.
Like, it'd be like somebody was like, oh, and they're like, ah, and like shocked him again, and then he died.
Because
That
he
would have been
scared
so
them?
good.
That would have
Yeah.
been incredible, yeah. But no. Like, he falls back down on the table, but they don't wait. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
right.
and then he hits the table, and they do it again. And then
Right.
he flatlines. And they're like, oh, call it. It was so, ugh.
Yeah. What I do love though is that the doctor, not the doctor, but the medical doctor that they call Dr. Grace, was at the opera, I believe.
Oh, yeah, she was on call
when
and she was on a date at the opera.
Yeah, and she was at the opera, and then she gets paged. And so she heads into surgery in her like opera ball gown.
Yep.
And like at the end she's like talking to Lee about his like personal effects and stuff. And she's just she's wearing like a ball gown while she's doing it.
Yeah.
I thought that was really great. But yeah, what strikes me as the worst thing about this movie is that it kind of serves no point. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
It was supposed to be the revival of the show in a way. Like they were going
Yes.
to try and pick up the series after this. But then I guess wasn't well received, or they just decided not to for whatever
it was
reason.
Not well received.
So then we had to wait till Christopher Eccleston showed. He was the first one in the New Who, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reboot started with Eccleston as the 9th Doctor.
Yeah. That's where I started. I wasn't crazy about Eccleston, but I like Billie Piper.
Yeah. Billie Piper,
She was-
I think, does a great job, and her character is incredibly interesting in that series.
Yeah. But again, I didn't really watch that much. But yeah, so I think what this kind of fails to do is, again, it doesn't what's what I'm looking for. It serves no purpose in that the Doctor doesn't get a new companion
Nope.
at the end of it because Grace decides to stay on Earth.
Yeah, that was actually one thing I really enjoyed as a Doctor Who fan, is that like people are like totally swept away by like this crazy, mysterious, enthralling Doctor, and like usually almost always if he says to a human, come with me, then they do.
Mm-hmm.
But Grace's response to come with me was, you come with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's amazing. That's my favorite part of the movie, probably, as a Doctor Who fan, at least. As a
Yeah,
human
that was
being, it was
pretty
when he
good.
got shot. But as a Doctor Who fan, I thought that was
Mm-hmm.
hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that was good. But it just kind of serves no purpose, I guess. Does the Master come back in the new series? Like in the reboot?
Yep, eventually.
Yeah,
I
okay, great.
think only once in the reboot. I can't remember exactly now, but yeah, I think actually maybe Simon Pegg plays him. I don't remember now, but
Ooh, okay, back in.
or no, wait, is it? No, is it Simon Pegg? No.
Okay, I'm out. Yeah, it just kind of like if you skipped right over this, it wouldn't matter. You know, like he lands on Earth. The Master tries to take over his body. Can we talk about the body taking over scene, by the way? That was a note that I took.
Oh
where
gosh.
He's got the Doctor in a rig with like the Clockwork Orange like hooks, like keeping his eyes open constantly because he needs to look into the eye. Stop me if I'm getting this wrong.
Okay.
But he needs to look into the eye, and then the Master can take over his body. Is that?
I mean, that's what I remember from the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But I mean, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
Fair
at
enough.
all.
Didn't make sense to me either. But that's I chalked that up to. Well, I don't know that much about Doctor Who, so maybe I'm wrong. I'm just looking at my notes here, and what I wrote down was, "You think he's going to a better hospital?"
Again, that dude, the freaking bouncer dude from How I Met Your Mother, was hilarious. He was so freaking funny.
Yeah, when the Doctor is reincarnated and busts out of the morgue and runs away, Grace shows up and she's like, "Where'd he go?" He's like, "What? You think he went to a better hospital?" So good.
It is pretty amazing.
Also, why does everyone in this movie smell candy? Including the Doctor. The Doctor has some candy. He has like a little bag of candy. And every time, before he eats it, he sniffs it.
I could not tell you. It was...
And then he puts it in his mouth. And there's several scenes where he offers other people candy. And they all smell it first. And pop it in their mouth. And them, I kind of get. Because it's like, okay, weird British guy's giving me candy. Maybe it's poison. But the Doc, I don't.
No, it's just super weird.
They all smell it. So weird. All right, well, yeah, but like the main plot of the movie is like, okay, the Master wants to take over the Doctor's body, and the Doctor needs to like steal a piece of a turbo clock in order to.
Atomic clock, that's what it's called.
An atomic clock, that's what it was, in order to fix the TARDIS. And I don't even remember how he stops the Master. But he does, somehow.
The Master gets sucked into the
eye?
The eye?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, the Doctor convinces Lee that he's not, that he shouldn't team up with the Master.
Mm-hmm.
And that he should be a good guy, and Lee's like, all right, fine. And he kind of, I don't know, he probably hits the Master with a stick or something. I can't remember. I kind of tuned out near the end, if I'm being totally honest.
No, that's totally fair. I did as well.
So I don't know. I don't feel like I can really talk much more about this movie.
I mean, that's fair.
I did laugh at times. Specifically when he got shot to death at the very beginning. That was funny.
There was one more amazing time. So he needs to get an atomic clock. Happens to see one on the television. It's from a university of San Francisco or whatever, and it's being unveiled because it's counting down to the change of the millennium. And so he's racing off, but then because of the eye being open, the master saw and heard what was going on with the doctor and also knows about the clock. And so they're racing to the clock and the doctor's racing to the clock, but then they're stuck in traffic because a semi-truck is across the road. And it has one of those flatbeds, that would hold a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's got a bunch of chickens on it. There are no cages. There's no hay.
Yeah.
There's nothing on
That's right.
the back of this semi-truck but chickens.
Just a bunch of chickens.
And the first time we're shown this scene, there's also a cop car nearby. A few of the chickens are now on the cop car, and a cop walks into the scene carrying a chicken and puts it back onto the semi-truck like he's gathering chickens to go back on this semi-truck that has no cages or walls or anything.
Yeah. Do you think there's one of those scenes where they're just like just do it, no one will notice?
Probably. It didn't, because there's no reason.
Yeah, the extra's like, so what, you want me to just take the chicken and just put it on the truck? Like, yeah, just put it on the truck. No one, it's fine. It's just to start the scene. No one's going to notice. The doctor's going to run in 2 seconds and start talking to you. It'll be fine. Just put the chicken back on the truck.
It was pretty freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. I'd say so. Well, let's rate this sumbitch.
Yeah, I mean, that's one big pile of shit.
That is one big pile of shit.
I think it's one big pile of shit too.
It has to be. It's not good enough to be a Breakfast Club fist bump, but and it wasn't funny enough to be craptacular. So we have to put it in slot number 3.
I think like if you're like a diehard Who fan, you've probably already seen it. But if you haven't, I don't know, maybe watch it if you're like a completionist, I guess.
That would be the only reason. But also, if you're a completionist who likes Doctor Who, good frickin' luck.
Yeah, there's literally episodes that the BBC just taped over because they're like, oh, we need another tape.
Yep.
We'll just use this one.
Because no one will care.
That's a big thing that the BBC used to do. Eric Idle famously bought the BBC new tapes to replace all of the tapes that Monty Python's Flying Circus was being stored on because they were going to tape over them. And he's like, no, I want to preserve my work. So however many tapes Monty Python's Flying Circus is on, I will buy you new tapes.
I think we might have talked about this before on a previous episode, actually.
We might have, yeah. But that was like, that was the thing that they did. They would just tape over stuff. They'd be like, who would ever want to watch this again? They should have taped over this movie, probably.
Probably. It would have been nice.
Yeah. But then we would never have seen the Doctor get machine gunned to death by a Chinese street gang. So, you win some, you lose some. I think that one's a win. If you're going to do anything, just Google Doctor Who the movie machine gun street gang death. You'll probably find it.
All that, yeah.
I'll try and find just the clip and I'll tweet it when this episode goes out.
Yeah.
Because fuck, man, it's so funny.
It's pretty great.
Just an old British man being murdered, gangland style, in the middle of an alleyway.
It's pretty special.
By firing squad. It's so funny. It shouldn't be funny. Like when you say that, if that were to happen in real life, obviously not funny. But in movie form, very funny.
Oh yeah, and there was one more thing about this movie actually that the beginning credits go on and it actually lifted my spirits a bit to be like, oh, maybe this won't be so bad. And that's that the music was composed by John Debney. I saw his name come up and I was like, oh, I've heard his name a lot. I know he's done a bunch of superhero stuff. I know he's done some of the Spider-Man movies and some of the Iron Man movies. He's the composer for Sin City. I also, for some reason, remember him from Elf.
That was a good one. I like Sin City.
Yeah, they got him for this movie. The soundtrack wasn't anything special ultimately, but
no,
it wasn't bad
I
So-
watched Sin City 2 not that long ago because it's on Netflix. Or I rewatched it. Holy fuck, that's bad.
Oh, really? I don't remember that one.
The only good part is the part that's actually based on a previous graphic novel. Like they based one of them, the main part of the movie, off of A Dame to Kill For.
Mm.
And then the rest of them are all new story. Oh, there might be one short story. I think the very beginning is like a short story from the Booze, Broths, and Bullets graphic novel. But yeah, the rest of them are like new stories that Frank Miller came up with for the movie, and they're terrible. They're real bad.
Yeah, it's a shame. Just like Doctor Who the movie,
Just like Doctor Who the
1996.
movie. So bad.
Do not watch it.
Don't watch it. Yeah. So that's the Retro Craptacular podcast for this month. Thank you for joining us.
And thanks to Thomas.
Thanks to Thomas for the suggestion, man. Even though we hated it,
Yeah.
I think it still made for an entertaining episode. And you know what? For me, it's almost worth saying that it's craptacular just for that scene of Doctor Who getting machine gunned to death. It's
You
so
really like that scene.
it's so funny. It's so good. I laughed so hard at it.
Oh boy.
Like if I I don't know, like it might be one of my favorite moments of like anything we've watched on this show.
the
it's
whole
so-
show. Wow.
It's so good. I mean, like aside from like if I'm ranking them, what are the things we watched? Roadhouse is number 1, obviously.
It's so good.
Like yeah, I don't know, this is up there, man. It's like that moment alone, not the whole movie, but that moment alone probably makes like my top 5. Like, did we watch Galaxy Invader on this? No, we didn't watch that as part of this. Galaxy Invader, when they got at the very end, that has another like top 5 moment. Horrible movie, but my god, the very ending of that movie is so good. It's just a very awkward final death, and it's hilarious. If you remember Galaxy Invader at all.
I don't, to be honest.
Not important. We'll watch it as part of the show. We'll be back next month with a movie
We will.
review for you. I'm trying to decide what we should do, and maybe I'll put us out there. We could either watch, because there's a Star Wars movie coming in December, we could either watch one of the Ewoks movies. I vote the second one, because the first one is real bad, and the second one is only kind of bad. Or I heard about this movie that was like a Hallmark Channel TV movie or whatever. It was made in Canada. Or maybe it was made by the Gay Channel? There's like a Canadian gay TV channel that made a Christmas movie where the main family has 2 dads. And it's not talked about or addressed really. It's just a normal thing. This family has 2 dads. But in order to sell this movie in the States, they shot every scene with the 2 dads. As soon as they got the take, they would replace one of the dads with a mom.
What?
And so they made a straight version of the movie for the
What?
American audience. I'm not shitting you. This is a real thing. It's called Too Cool for Christmas. Look it up.
What?
And it's released under 2 different titles. And one of them is on Amazon Prime and the other one's on Hulu. So what we could do is like watch both and then do a compare and contrast. Because apparently it's like the movie is identical, except for in one of them, the main family is a 2-dad. It sounds like doodad, but 2-dad. It's a 2-dad situation, and then the other one is just a mom. It's a straight situation, which like sounds, because like I'm assuming the movie itself is probably kind of bad because it's like a TV movie, like a made-for-TV Christmas movie, probably just pretty shit in general.
Probably.
But I imagine the straight version is just even worse because it's just that much more average, you know?
Probably.
So we could watch that.
Well, gotta watch it to find out.
I don't know. What do you think? Ewok movie or Gay Dad Christmas movie?
I mean, when you word it like that, there's only one answer. I don't know. Maybe we should leave it up to the fans to decide.
Ooh, yeah. Do a Twitter poll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just
okay.
ask Thomas. Just email Thomas. Be like, Thomas,
Email Thomas. Be like, hey man.
we really don't want to decide again. So you do it again. Yeah.
You do it for us. Yeah. We could do that. I'm kind of leaning towards the Ewok movie because one, it's only one movie.
That saves a bit of time.
Two, I think it'll make for a better episode because I don't know that there will be enough content in that other than to be like, well, in the one version of the movie they had two dads, so
which we already covered, really.
we kind of just covered it now. I'm more just like I'm kind of shocked that this exists, but in another way I'm really not, and I want to know if they made enough money selling it to the American market to make it worth shooting every scene with the two dads in it again.
It's a good question.
You know? And then like how do you decide which one gets replaced? Because one of those dads is going to be doing twice the work.
It's true.
I mean, on set, right? Like one of those actors is going to be doing twice the work. The other one gets to do just the one movie, and he gets paid. And like every scene, he gets to like go back to his trailer, take a nice little break, kick up his heels, have a coconut water, while they bring in the mom, and they're like, "Get in there and straighten this out for us so that we can sell it to America." No, I did it on purpose. Yeah.
Good wordplay. Yeah. Woof.
So I want to know if it was worth it, basically. Maybe I'll do some research and I'll report back next month.
Yeah, sounds good. In the meantime, we'll just watch the Ewok movie. Sounds
cool.
Good.
Sounds good. Dude, it's gonna be weird not going to see Star Wars with you at Christmas, man.
It's gonna be.
I bought my usual
thinking of you.
block of tickets. Oh, I'll be thinking of you too. Make sure you wear your sweater.
Oh, of course, Snatch.
Yeah. No, I bought my usual block of tickets, and I was like, I can't wait to go with all my friends.
Oh. We usually like sit beside each other too. Oh.
I know.
So sad.
Nah, I'll be fine. It'll be good. I'm going with my bandmates and my lovely girlfriend and my parents. It's gonna be a blast.
I'll be going with Zelda.
Oh, and Mike. Mike's gonna be there. You gonna take your dog to the theater?
Yeah, I want to see how that goes.
Leave your wife at home.
Yep.
Like, look after the house, dear. I'll be back in a couple hours.
I'm taking the dog.
Oh, that'd be good. Anyways, this is winding down, but yeah, we'll talk about Star Wars probably in January.
Yeah,
we'll try and get the next episode out before the new Star Wars movie comes out. But yeah, until next time. Oh, I guess I got to do the thing that I do.
Yeah, we still haven't really done the ending amble.
All right, here we go. I'll see how fast I can do it. If you like this show, please leave a comment and a review on iTunes. You can do it right on the app. Give us a 5-star review. It really helps. If you give us a 5-star review, thank you. If you didn't, thank you for reviewing anyways, I suppose. But if you can't be bothered to do that, I guess... I guess tell a friend. That's another great way to... support the show if you like it. Tell someone who you also think might like it, or just retweet it, or whatever. You can find the show on all the major podcasting listening apps like iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify. We have a YouTube channel. And I think that's it. You can reach us at RetroCrapPod on all social medias, and retrocrappod@gmail.com if you want to be as cool as Thomas and email in a suggestion. Because guess what? Thomas is the shit.
Real fucking
cool. He's so fucking cool because he emailed in not only a suggestion for a movie to watch, but then like 10 episodes of Doctor Who spanning both eras.
So cool.
Dude's suggesting stuff up the wazoo.
It's
And you know what?
crazy.
I am gonna watch some of those episodes, and I'll report back to you on my.
What?
I'm gonna do it
Wow.
if I can find an easy way to do it, because I think they took Doctor Who off Netflix,
I think they did, yeah.
so I might have to do some VPNing / torching. But yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'll watch as many as I can. I'll report back to you. Maybe see if my my tune has changed on the whole Doctor Who scenario. But yeah, that does it for this edition of the Retro Craptacular. Thank you for listening. Please watch the scene of Doctor Who getting machine gunned to death, and as always, keep watching crap.